Like you said, I am Kelly. I am owner of Genuine Accounting and Tax. So my story starts in my childhood. So I'm an only child and I grew up in Southern Oregon. My mom worked full-time to support us while my dad was self-employed, working wherever he could find work, which was usually out of state. So, that's the self-employed. I'm not so sure about that, but who knows? So I started working at 10, babysitting and berry picking. I didn't earn much, but I learned how to work hard. At 10 cents a pint for strawberries, I'd be lucky to make $5 in a day. It was crazy. So growing up with a narcissist was normal to me. I thought all men were rude and mean, and I was taught that women were lower level beings. I knew from a very young age that I should have been a boy. My dad made sure I knew I wasn't worth much as a girl and that I would never amount to anything without a man to take care of me. I'm pretty sure this is where my tenacity comes from. I tried to prove him wrong with everything that I did. I found myself on my own at 16. My dad had moved out of state and my mom wanted to be with him. And so there I was, my senior year in high school, and I was alone. The first accounting job I held was in a credit department as a temp the summer before college. Once in college, I thought I wanted to be an attorney, but the universe had different plans. Coming from a small town and then going to a huge university was not what I needed. I moved to community college and did my 2 years in business management. During this time, I worked miscellaneous bookkeeping and office jobs. I got married at 19 and started my family. After a few years, I decided to go back to school and I earned my bachelor's degree while working full-time, raising 2 children, while my husband was in the Army and was deployed pretty much that whole time. In 96, I opened my first part-time bookkeeping company to help out friends that needed some help. And in 99, we got transferred to Washington. I found a job there that gave me plenty of opportunities to learn more stuff. And I started going back to school to earn my master's. This was a crazy time in my life. I was getting divorced from what turned out to be a sociopath who attempted to kill me. Fortunately, he was arrested and was not able to do any major harm. The year that followed that is a complete blur. So I stopped going to school. I shut down my business. It took everything I had to just work, keep myself safe and my kids safe. After all of that was said and done and he was in jail, I found a job as a finance director for a nonprofit and I started back on my master's program. In 2010 was the turning point. I was allowed to go through a leadership program through my work. They paid for it. And with that local leadership program, I realized that after everything I had been through, I needed to trust myself. I knew I could do this full time. And that was it. I got out of the leadership program, graduated in June, started my business in July, and graduated with my master's in August. So it was crazy. So after a couple of years of being in business, I needed something to distinguish myself from other people. So I decided to become an IRS enrolled agent. So I began studying and I took all 3 of the bar type classes or exams and passed them all in less than a year and became an EA. So a couple years later, it was crazy. I was working 7 days a week and I couldn't take it anymore. I was exhausted. So being single mom, all of that, it was nuts. So the turning point on that was pretty funny because did my own taxes at the end of the year and realized that after I'd paid all of my expenses, paid my 3 employees and everything else, I had made a whopping $12,000 for myself and my kids. And I went, nope, that's it. This is not worth it. So that was the beginning of my slowdown. Fortunately, I was offered a CFO position, so I jumped at the opportunity. I did continue to work my business, but I downsized quite a bit. And so, gotcha. So, yeah, and things moved along, and now we get to 2020. It's the middle of a pandemic, and I decide to not only restart my business, but move to a whole new area, which is absolutely nuts if you think about it. But I am exactly where I need to be. I feel it. And, you know, my ultimate goal in life is to be able to help myself, help others, and just be me.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see the hands, because um, to go through what you went through deserves an applause, but to tell what you've gone through to strangers deserves an even bigger applause. I really appreciate you being transparent with us all, and very interested in seeing which way you go as far as going up in your career. You said you are right where you need to be, which is a great statement, and it shows you have a lot of faith in what you're doing. So definitely kudos to you. I have the first question, and I want to know a little bit more about this breakthrough part where you went into the leadership program. Like, what was that about? Like, what snapped during that time? And if you guys have any questions, please put it in the chat, and I'll line you right up. But yeah, can you kind of speak to like what was like the defining thing of the? Because everybody, you know, there's a lot of leadership courses out there, a lot of people that are leadership coaches. But like, what was that thing for you at that time in your life?
It was, so the leadership course focused on local needs, local government, nonprofits. And I realized that because of what I had been through, I could actually help some of these nonprofits and do some stuff in government. And once I became, got used to that idea, I guess is the best way to put it, I decided, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. I need to do this. And in the process of thinking about how I was going to help, I went, you know what? Why am I so worried about everything? I can do this. I'm a strong person. I can be a pain in the hiney if I need to. Just do it. And that was kind of the turning point. Was I started telling my story to people and realizing that I was way stronger than I had thought I was.
Yeah, you mentioned you learned to trust yourself.
Yes.
And that's huge. Sometimes a lot of people around you may trust you, and inside you don't even trust yourself. But when you do, great things happen. Just a couple of comments. One guy says, boom, it was Brandy actually, boom, chills. Thank you for sharing such a vulnerable past. And Rihanna said, I feel your strength. And Connie said, you're inspiring. And Ambitious a goal getter says you have a winner's attitude. And I'm reading these because you need to take that on. This is what we see. And just to confirm, you are obviously already know that this is the path you want to be on. So kudos. I have the first question coming in from Robert Phelan. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, Kelly, thank you so much for your presentation. So I want to give you the chance to explore something more. You brushed over it, and I realized you were running out of time, but we're in the midst of a pandemic. Small businesses are closing. A second shutdown's being talked about. Murder hornets, toilet paper shortage. Like, you're a CFO, and you decide, now's the perfect time for me to launch it full time into my own business, my own thing. Can you just share more of what that took, what led to that, and what were some of the fears and what pushed you into that decision?
Okay. So it's an interesting little dialogue, but so COVID made it so I had to cancel my wedding twice. And so I'm just like, I've had enough of this. So we were talking to family that lives in the area, and they said, we know a place where they're doing free elopements. You just have to drive out here. And so we took the jump and said, okay, we're going on vacation. We're going to elope. Did that. On the way back to Washington, I went, you know what? It's gorgeous there. We have to live there. And so in less than 2 months, we'd packed up everything, drove out here, got settled. And then after looking for a job for a couple months, I went, you know what? This is crazy. I have a business. Let's just do it. And it's a new place. It's a new beginning. And it's been the best decision I've made. It's absolutely amazing. I've loved everybody I've met, and you guys are awesome. I love this community.
Yeah, they say Colorado Springs community is based on relationship first. Most other communities are transactional.
Right.
So I find they kind of keep the down home, relationship community vibe is with this town. What I've gotten from the town since I've been here for about 5 years myself. So yeah, Kimberly said, glad you made it here today and to be an inspiration to others. That's awesome. I have another question coming in from Rihanna. Rihanna, you ready?
Hi, Kelly. Great job today. And for those of you guys who are not reading behind the lines, I want to point something out before I get to my question. Most accountants, a married one, I get it, they are the most risk-adverse community out there. During COVID and all of this, most of them are hiding, not answering their phones, and not sure what to do. They're clamming up. Kelly here did exactly the opposite. She jumped in to help the small business community here in Colorado, jumped off that cliff during a very risky time. That is the kind of person you want on your team. Her tenacity and strength speaks volumes. Okay, moving on. I find it interesting. Most people don't know much about enrolled agents. A lot of people often think, oh, CPA, right? But enrolled agents are just as valuable. Can you tell the community about the difference between the two?
Absolutely. So the difference between an enrolled agent and a CPA is, one, the CPA is licensed by the state, and they have a broader range of services that they can offer. My least favorite service that CPAs offer is nonprofit audits. I have zero desire to do that. That sounds like I'd rather stab myself in the eye. So that's why I went for the enrolled agent. Enrolled agents are licensed by the IRS. It's the same sort of bar exam process that the state offers. But as an enrolled agent, I hold the highest ability to represent my clients in front of the IRS. So in an audit, in a review, even in, I won't get into criminal matters, but in anything that the IRS has coming at you that's not criminal, I can represent you to the point even that you don't even have to go to court. I can be your person. And CPAs are not allowed to do that. They can go with you, but you still have to be there. So enrolled agent is amazing. We get to focus on the taxes and all the tax issues, and we're technically the tax experts, and the CPAs are overall accounting experts. And to me, that's the biggest difference.
Sounds like you guys are in the trenches and the CPAs are kind of overseeing.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Yeah. The real action happens on the ground anyway, right? So I was curious, do you offer a consultation, and what does that entail?
I do offer a consultation, and right now everything is Zoom and phone. So, but yes, I'm happy to talk to anybody, find out what's going on, what their questions are. I'm such a people person that call me, let's talk.
Got it. Do you have like a formula that you kind of put in place to help a person get to maybe their, financial goals in that area?
I do. So I vary it by client because I really personalize what I do for each client. So one client may need one thing and another client might need another thing. And so we just work together to find out what's going to be best for them. And that's what we do.
Brandy's wondering, well, she wants you to tell us more about what Genuine does, but like more like type of ideal client, anyone you won't work with. It sounds like the one you'd rather stab yourself in the eye. But kind of, can you give us like a little bit more of a idea of what it's like to work with you, what you do different, what's the differentiator, et cetera?
Okay. So I am a full service accounting firm. So that means I can do everything from taking your books and cleaning them up to teaching you how to do it yourself, all the way up through taxes. I do tax planning. I don't necessarily have an ideal client. I do specialize in individuals and small business owners. So that, to me, that's normally less than 50 employees. So there is a client that I won't take, and those are the ones that come to me and know everything and are very arrogant. So with my past, I don't have any patience for arrogance, and so I don't deal with it. What do I do different? I am very personable, and the one thing that I do differently is where I personalize everything to each client. So I don't have a standard, this is what we're going to do for this engagement. It's okay, you need this, this, and this. So let's see how we can take care of that. And then we can look and see what else you might need assistance with.
Roger that. So what, like Genuine, like where'd the name come from?
So I came up with Genuine. It took me a while to figure it out because in Washington, it was KDH Business Services. Well, when I got remarried, KDH didn't fit anymore. So I decided, well, let's come up with something. And we were thinking, and I realized in talking it over with my husband that I really like genuine people. People that are backstabbing or nice to your face and then talk BS about you behind your back. I just can't handle. And so I'm like, I am a very genuine person. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to go around and, do goofy things and stuff. So that's how Genuine came about. And then you'll notice there's a big red rose that has nothing to do with Genuine, except that that's me. I have that rose tattooed on my arm. And so I put those together and I'm like, you know what? My logo and my name is me. That's just, you get me when you work with me. And so there you go.
Understandable. I don't see any other questions coming in, but I have one that I asked Gail, and that is like, so you started in 2020, 2021, like, what is this thing? Like, if I get this done, it was a successful year. You have like a project or something in mind like that?
Well, I have some ridiculous goals. I know some other people call them, their big whatever goals, but so my goal for 2021 is, one, I want to grow my business by 400%. And two, I want to become known as the go-to person for tax issues in this area.
So you want to dominate. Okay. Good. Hey, listen, big dreams are, it all starts in the mind, right? Like, it's back to what you said about believing in yourself. And, a lot of that has to do with surrounding yourself with like-minded people and going for it. I see Becky had a question. You want to ask, Becky?
Sure, Kelly, I Googled and I couldn't find you. So how do I find you?
So I went a little creative with my website. So it's everydeduction.net.
Okay. And then I'm learning something new. I am seeing as I process all these grants that, and this is like way over everyone wants to know, but I want to know, I'm seeing sole proprietors, like a husband and wife, each filing their own Schedule C as an LLC. Is that new?
No.
Is that allowed?
Yeah, not so much.
Okay. What's your phone number, Kelly? I'm going to call you about it because everyone else does not want to hear my nerd speak. Trust me.
Her information, actually, if you check the chat, it's
Thank you.
there. Even her email, Kelli@everydeduction.net, and Facebook, etc. Thanks, Robert. Right on time with that.
Thank you.
Brandy
Thank
said,
you. Thank you.
Brandy said, build an empire. Yeah, let's go. And Rihanna said, beautiful is the theme of the day. Two beautiful women, inside and out, doing beautiful things. Gotta love it.
Oh,
So yeah, we're coming to a close, and we're gonna get to this the super special question. Anything you want to kind of say, like, you know, almost like Gail, like anything you want to kind of push out to the world, push out to us that you want to speak on, kind of wrap it all up.
I think I've said most of it, but yeah, just what you see with me is what you get. So I really care about people and how things affect them in their lives.
That's good. Same like Gail, you know, and I appreciate you guys being in the world, pushing that love forward. We need it. So so to everyone listening, if you would like to ask the super special question, please unmute and jump right in. Everybody's shy today.
Ask it.
Hi, Kelly. What can we as the Colorado Springs business community do to help you and your business?
Great
I
question.
love this question. Yeah, every week I love this question. So what I'm looking for is just support. Introduce me to your circles. Let your friends and family know that there's somebody like me out there that can help them, that is really going to go above and beyond to make sure that they understand what's going on with their taxes and things that will help them and not just help the general public.